privilege and honor of being the board chair of RecycleBalls since 2023. My background is really in consumer product marketing and also in sustainability, so it was a great chance for me to, use a lot of the background that I have in marketing to a cause I'm really excited about. And as you know, Erin, I'm super passionate about tennis, so my background is more in business side, marketing, but a chance to make an impact in the tennis industry was something really exciting for me as well.
We have been so lucky to have you in your leadership. Recyclables has really evolved during that time. As you look back on your time as board chair, now almost 2 years, what are the moments that you're most proud of?
There's so many things to be proud of really over the last couple of years. When we started, the board was just forming. And so what I'm really proud of from a board perspective is just the evolution of all the ideas that we kind of set out on the agenda early on and actually seeing a lot of them coming into fruition in actuality with different partnerships or scalability of things. And also just having the chance to work alongside, the RecycleBalls team, but also the board, people coming from all across the country with so many different skills and expertise areas, and being able to learn from everyone and push the thinking forward on ways to make a bigger impact. So it was like a really collaborative effort with the board. So I think I'm just really, really proud of a lot of the things that we set out to do, whether it be, get, increase the number of volunteers in this, in the system, which is already so many. There's so many passionate facilities out there, tennis facilities, and being able to kind of tap into that, thinking about just the impact and the scalability and the types of partners that we can get that can use, whether it's the recycled balls or ground up rubber and other different components of it, and also just thinking from an innovation perspective about ways that materials can be used across a whole variety of products, and working with university teams on that too. So getting a lot of people involved in the movement, to make a big, big impact. I think those are kind of the main things for me that have been just I'm really proud of that. And just being recognized also by some of the, bodies, or, like we had the chance, Aaron, you and I had the chance a couple of years to go to the U.S. Open and see the, the recycling of the actual balls that that are played with during the tournament, and just see them coming down directly from the courts where all the top players are playing, and to take those balls and then we actually boxed them up and put them in recycled balls boxes to send them back to have a second life, or have a third, fourth, fifth life. So just to see in real life the context of, and having just seeing what you can actually do with all that, I think for me that was really rewarding as well. So a lot to be proud of, certainly.
Agreed. Um, and Margaret, you mentioned this idea of a movement, which was kind of surprising to me when I first joined RecycleBalls. What surprised you most about the RecycleBalls movement and the people behind it?
Yeah, I think early on I had the chance to talk to a number of different facility managers who have been active with the RecycleBalls program. Integral and important the program was to them and to their members, and the pride that they took in championing it throughout their community, and almost being a bit of a pioneer in putting the boxes out, and actively collecting them, and also bringing along some young players who are really passionate about the planet and climate change, and wanting to make a difference, and so tapping into people in their facilities to bring it to life in a bigger way. I think that was really, really exciting to see. Also, just the community of ambassadors that RecycleBalls has that are so passionate about making this difference. So that, I mean, those were a couple things that really surprised me. I think the sheer volume, sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around exactly how many tennis balls we're talking about, and just thinking about how many football fields it could fill, or like how many trips to the moon, just like all of that. It just surprised me that the scale, how big it could be. And also just thinking about the fact that it's just scratching the surface, and there's still so many more out there to be collected, right? It's just kind of building up the interest and getting it accessible for people to be able to send the balls back. But I think that was another surprising thing. What wasn't super surprising was just the number of partners that want to work with RecycleBalls, because they see that there is something really unique and special, and that it makes a real difference in it. So I think that was something that I anticipated, but I didn't realize, the passion of some of the partners that we have about really trying to drive this in a big way too.
And I think that passion is something that we see so much of. We have people who are adamant about getting the right numbers and reporting those back to the community, and talking to other people about it, or bringing additional facilities on because they think they love being part of something that is making a difference. And so I guess with that idea of making a difference, Recyclables started as a really bold idea and has grown into a nationwide system. We're still evolving, we're still growing as a systems solution. But from your perspective, what do you think this idea of turning a great idea into a nationwide system represents for the future of sports and sustainability, maybe even beyond tennis?
Yeah, I mean, that's another great question. I think it just showcases that when when you take this idea and you work really diligently on it, and you connect with people that are like-minded, who can see the vision, and you find that ecosystem you can make a difference in, and then you start to see the impacts that one person can have in a community, and then how many, the impacts that you multiply that, and then you build it nationwide. And it just starts to change behavior a bit, right? Like when you think about things like as simple as sending your tennis balls back to a facility where they'll either get a second life, as a dog toy, or a chair, something to put on the bottom of the chair, or others, or you think about the fact that it could actually come back in another product, and you think about that, and you think about the fact that it doesn't have to just be tennis balls. It could be anything, anything that you use. There is this opportunity for a second, third, fourth life, and I think it just also, when you think about behaviors, and you think about changing, I think it's one thing at a time. And so when you start to take those actions of not just immediately throwing these tennis balls away, then you start maybe thinking about like what other actions can you take, and then collectively more things start to unlock greater change across the across different things. So whether it's tennis or others, but I do think it just shows what's possible when people get together and take an action and change a behavior, and then all of a sudden it becomes kind of normal. Right? You don't think about it anymore.
And on that note, as the board chair, you really had a front seat to the evolution that we just talked about. What lessons did we learn on our journey that you think would be relevant for other nonprofits or other organizations trying to create really meaningful environmental change?
I think there's a lot of things, a lot of kind of lessons learned, or having that front row seat. I think the first thing that comes to mind is we can't do it alone. I think I kind of was just saying that a little bit in context of the last question, but you really can't do it alone. And you reach out, you have these ideas of people you want to talk to, or references from people, and you reach out and you have these meetings, and sometimes it feels like when's the breakthrough going to happen, and sometimes it's not always clear. But I think generally speaking, you know, people come back, the people that you meet and you talk to, even if it's not like the top thing on their agenda that very day, the more people that start to be aware and start to be educated, the more opportunity you get for partnerships to come to fruition. And they might take a little bit longer than you expect. So that's the other thing, in addition to kind of you can't do it alone, is you can't give up because
Mm.
things just take. This is true across most aspects of my professional life, but things just take longer than you think that they're going to take. And sometimes it's easy to say, well, that partnership didn't happen as fast, or, oh, there's just some roadblock, especially when, um, you're building something new, or you're asking people to maybe donate, or, give time, or whatever it might be. So I think sometimes it really is like a question of not giving up and keep trying different avenues. Something will unlock. And then, I think in the case of RecycleBalls, we had a couple of really big partnerships that we were working on over the last year and a half, let's say. And, there's so much excitement about the possibility and what could be, and you start building out these ideas and these plans, and, everyone can see the end, you can see the vision of what you want it to be, but it's like, how do you get from A to B to C, across it. And that's where, yeah, so don't give up, keep trying, keep aligning people that have the same, similar goals and values and passion for the cause, and, you don't do it alone, because that's the other beauty about being on, front row seat, being on the board. We have so many talented people with so many different, you know, areas of expertise and reasons why they're on the board, that, sometimes just having conversations might unlock other ideas that
Mm-hmm.
then someone has been able to make a call, or, pave the path for a different partnership. So yeah, I would say it takes longer than you think. You can't do it alone. Don't give up, and leverage your fans as much as you can.
Great advice. I think that some of those we learn together. Like, you know them cognitively, but then living it is a little bit different experience. One of the things that I found that I really enjoyed with you as the board chair, this is a really specific experience, but you and I were able to meet our growing partnership with Lakehold, and we were able to meet them in person in Atlanta together and talk about planning and shaping what a really kind of long term or legacy partnership might look like. And that just felt, it was so exciting to be able to share that with them and with you, and for us to live in that space of possibility together.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a highlight too, to see that partnership start to really take a bigger, you know, take flight, like starting to actually see how it could come to life. And I mean, for me, thinking about, you know, having had the chance, the really amazing opportunity to have been board chair the last couple of years, like to be able to build the partnership where we can say that every tennis court, you know, maybe in the US, maybe globally, the sky's the limit, that Lakehold resurfaces, or lays down in any facility, will have recycled tennis balls. I mean, that's just it's like so tangible,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, wow, you can think about the fact that there's actually used recycled tennis balls. It's just a full 360, like ecosystem. And I just think it's such a great story, and people can really, yeah, you just kind of see the entire process. And that to me is really, really, really exciting to have as a defining moment of the last, of the efforts over the last, I don't know, it's been the full 2 years, but over the last bit, it's, and to see that it come to actuality. And then you just think about, with my marketing background, all the different ways you can talk to consumers about that, or, education, right? Building awareness. Like, there's just so many stories to be told there
Mm-hmm.
that I think can really, like, going back to passion at the facilities, and volunteers in the RecycleBalls network. Like, it just lends itself so well to be able to tell what such a cool story. And like to your point about other sports, right? It also kind of shows like what could maybe be possible across other sports as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, and then there's still so many other product ideas that in my time we didn't get a chance to dive into as much as I know we wanted to, in terms of like, tennis shoes or clothes, or like the sky's the limit. And not just consumer products, but there's so many other products out there that I know could benefit from the material.
And we are very lucky that although you are rolling and moving out of your role as the board chair, you will still be on the board, which is absolutely fantastic. And what would you say to someone else about thinking about getting involved, whether that's a recycler or a supporter or potentially a board member or a new partner in one of these sky's the limit ideas? What would you say to them about, joining the RecycleBalls movement?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a couple things there. From a board perspective specifically, one of the big highlights for me was just having the chance to spend quality time with some of the board members who were able to do in-person retreats. So throughout my time, we had two trips to Miami during the Miami Open. So not only did we get to watch some great tennis, but the opportunity to spend time and really bond with the board members was so valuable. And I just really loved that experience as well. So I think that's one thing about getting involved, whether it's on the board or part of the community, is you just get to really meet people that probably have shared interest, shared passion, shared experiences. And I think it just enriches your day to day. So from that perspective, that's been amazing. I think the other thing about joining, not in the board capacity, but yeah, it just is something bigger than just playing. It's something that allows you to think that's bigger than just like when the match is over. You still have other things that you're connected to the community. So I think that's great. And just a really, just to tie it together, it's just a really great group of people. Like everyone I've met that's been involved in it, it's a good community. It's a great community to be part of.
And is there anything that you would say directly to that community as the current partnership and leadership for this organization? If you could speak directly to that community, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think I would say thank you for the support, for spending the time to actually, send in the tennis balls. So many people that I talk to, they're like, oh, I have a closet full or a garage full, and what do I do with them? So, thank you for taking a step, for actually doing it, and for evangelizing it and talking about it and, getting excited about it and reaching out and seeing how you could help and how you could get more, make more of an impact. So, yeah, I guess it would just be, especially since obviously the movement's grown so much in the past couple of years, but it's still in the early stages compared to where I believe and you probably believe it could be, can be, will be. So, for being an early mover on it too, I think it's really another thing that I would say it's important. It's always nice to have people willing to take those first steps. So,
That's awesome. Margaret, thank you so much for taking the time to chat and to share a little bit of your learning and your insight that you've gained along this journey as board chair. I can't thank you enough for volunteering your time, your passion, your expertise. It has been just a privilege to work with you in leading this organization. Thank you.
It's been just as you know, I loved every minute of it, and I won't go far because I'll still be involved, but it'll be in great hands with the new leadership for sure.